Hi, Earth Angels. My name is Perseus Leandra. I am an astrologer and wellness professional. Thank you so much for visiting my channel if this is your first time, and I really appreciate it if you're a return visitor. Check out my website and the description box below if you're interested in connecting on a personal reading. I would love to share one with you. So last week we chatted about the sun entering the third winter sign of dreamy, spiritual, creative Pisces. This week we're still on our journey through Pisces, but we're going to talk about the significant full moon in Virgo that we had on Saturday, February 24th at 7:30 a.m. We'll also talk about the energy this week as the moon moves from Virgo to Libra to Scorpio to Sagittarius. And of course, we'll get into the horoscopes for all 12 signs. So let's get into this full moon. The full moon in February was named the snow moon by Indigenous Americans as it was often the time of the year where snowfall was the heaviest. Some Indigenous tribes also called it the hunger moon as it was really difficult to hunt during the season. Another fun fact is this full moon was the smallest full moon of the year. I've seen some places calling it the mini moon, the micro moon. I don't know if you had a chance to go see it on Saturday, but it was really small and it was really cool to see. And really that meant the moon was still its bright, beautiful, illuminate self, but because it was a little further from the earth than it usually is, it looked a lot smaller, especially compared to some of the super moons that we've had recently. You know, full moons are always a beautiful spectacle. And while Saturday is when this full moon was at its peak energy, the energy is still very potent. Like full moons have potent energy 5 days before the full moon, 5 days after the full moon. The full moon is when the sun makes an exact opposition to the moon, and this phase represents completion. Full moons are a great time for releasing what no longer serves us. I think it's also important to note that opposition aspects can also signify a time of friction because it's two polarities working to integrate with each other. And full moons, they represent our emotions, so it's often a time when intense emotions can occur. So when the full moon is in Virgo, Virgo significations are brought to life. Because Virgo shares an axis with Pisces, the Virgo-Pisces axis is also activated. This axis is known as the health or service axis and invites us to integrate the parts of ourselves that are fixated with order, routine, or day-to-day lives with the other part of ourselves that wants to swim in the seas of dreams, creativity, and spirituality. Both are really important aspects of ourselves, and finding the balance, which is never easy, is important to live a more fulfilling life. While the Virgo-Pisces axis is activated, the full moon is illuminating the sign of Virgo. So it's a wonderful time to evaluate your health routines and habits. And there may be some unhealthy habits you should try to cut out, whether that's avoiding exercise, like I've been doing lately, or being a workaholic. It's also a great time to get various things in your life in order. Whether that's deep cleaning your house, eliminating all those random screenshots from your phone, or making time for the people that matter the most to you. Virgo is also a sign of service, so evaluating where you can be of service to others is a great idea. And on that flip side, it's also important to evaluate where you might be overextending yourself and where you might be able to cut back and focus some time on you. The full moon is opposing Saturn, our planet of rules, structure, discipline, and responsibility. And we already know that Virgo energy can be critical at times. So watch out for being hard on yourself and being hard on others. Lean into that Pisces sun, give yourself compassion, give others compassion as well. On February 26th at 9:30 Eastern Time, the moon moved into Libra, the sign of justice, balance, and harmony. And it formed a conjunction with the South Node that represents our past and karma, while also making trines to Mars, the planet of motivation and ambition, and Venus, the planet of beauty and passion. This is good energy for speaking out around an issue or a problem that's been bothering you or causing you some sort of pain or issues in the past. Getting those feelings out and putting them behind you will help you move forward in the direction that you want to get to. Mars and its lover Venus give you that extra confidence you need. On February 28th at 10:09 p.m., the moon enters Scorpio. Because we have a stellium of planets in fellow water sign Pisces, you may be in your feelings, especially if one of your big three, so that's the sun, moon, or rising, is in a water sign. This is because the moon will be in a sign-based trine with all of the planets in Pisces, the sun, Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune. Trines are generally positive aspects, but with Saturn and Mercury both in Pisces, watch out for taking things too personally or taking things out on people that don't deserve it. And the last transit we'll cover will be, before getting into the full moon horoscopes for all 12 signs, will be the moon entering Sagittarius on March 2nd at 8:57 p.m. This fiery moon will put you in good spirits as you may contemplate how you want to move forward with a goal that could be transformative with your life. Because the moon is trining the North Node, representing our destiny, Mercury and Pisces is also squaring that moon, so be mindful of what you say and maybe expect potential traffic issues. Okay, now for the full moon horoscope for each sign. Since it's Pisces season, I'm going to continue with sharing the birthday signs horoscope first. I recommend listening for your rising sign, as that's the sign that most horoscopes are based on, and then I would read your sun sign, as that's a big predominant energy of who we are as well. And these horoscopes aren't just good for the full moon that passed this Saturday, they're good for the next 2 weeks, so until we have the next new moon. So for my Pisces, this full moon is happening in your 7th house of partnerships, can be romantic or business-wise, with the moon facing off in Saturn, and Saturn in your 1st house. If you're attached, you could be eager to put labels or structures on a newish relationship. For those of you in a more long-term relationships, you could be thinking of taking that next step, whether that's marriage, moving in with each other, or even having the conversation of expanding your family. For single Pisces, this may be a good time to, check out the dating scene or pursue that person that you may have been interested in, but you just didn't have the time to really make a commitment before. Next up is Aries. The full moon is in your 6th house of health and your daily routines, which includes your work life. The Virgo full moon in this area provides a perfect opportunity to evaluate your current routines and habits. Which ones are serving you? Which ones may be taking you away from your goals? Saturn is opposing the moon in your 12th house, which represents our mental health, among other things. So this full moon is really asking you to cut those habits that may be causing you mental strife or stress and pick up new habits that are more soothing to your mental health, like meditation or other forms of spirituality. For my Taurus risings and suns, this full moon is illuminating one of the best houses in your chart, your 5th house of creativity, romance, self-expression, children, and play. Use this beautiful full moon energy to have lots of fun over the next 2 weeks. Start a hobby you've always wanted to try. Pursue that crush you've been interested in if you're single. Insist on a date night if you're attached. This is also a wonderful time to put some energy and a side hustle or a business project that you've been contemplating. Whatever you choose to do, know that it's okay to be a little selfish right now so you can focus on your wants and desires. Have fun. Next up, we have our lovely Geminis. For you, the full moon is happening in your 4th house of home, family, and privacy. This full moon is a great opportunity for you to get your house in order. Need to declutter or do some organizing. This moon will give you the energy you need to not feel overwhelmed with getting things done. While with the full moon signaling completion, you could have also found your dream home or the perfect location for starting the next phase of your life. Family is also brought up in this sector, so if a family member was going through a tough time or you were having issues with your family or a family member, the full moon could signal that those issues could be ending very soon. Cancers are up next, and this full moon is happening in your 3rd house of communication, short distance travel, siblings, and neighborhoods. With the Virgo full moon here, this is a wonderful time to do some volunteer work around your community. If that's a big step, simply being there for a neighbor or a sibling could really go a long way and be very appreciated. While doing things for others is always a good option right now, during this time, this is also an ideal time for you to take a short trip with friends or siblings. Don't overthink planning, just go and have some fun with the people that matter the most to you and that you have the most fun with. For the Leos watching, this full moon is happening in your second house of income, resources, and values. This full moon is putting the spotlight on your money-making abilities. And the opposition to Saturn will help you think about systems that can help you make the most of your money and give you the discipline you need to save more than you have before. This is a great time to get clear on your goals around money. Saturn is working with the full moon to help you feel confident about your money matters in 2024. Let this energy be a catalyst for the rest of the year. For my Virgos, this full moon is happening in your first house. Enjoy your moment. This is the only full moon in Virgo for the year, so soak it up. Take the next 2 weeks to focus on you, your needs, your desires. It's okay to be selfish right now and think of the things that will help you get to where you need to be. Again, full moon signifying completions, so think about around the time of your birthday. Full moons are often markers of completion of seeds we planted around the new moons in the same sign. Was there something you've been watering since the fall? Has it fully bloomed now? If so, pat yourself on the back and enjoy the fruits of your labor. For my Libras, this full moon in Virgo is happening in your 12th house of solitude, ending spirituality, the subconscious, and things that are hidden. This house can honestly be kind of heavy. And with Saturn in your 6th house of health and daily routines, there could be something weighing heavily on your mind. But this full moon gives you the opportunity to let things go that have been burdening you. Full moons, as I mentioned earlier, can bring up some intense emotion, so you could experience some sorrow or a lot of tears as you make that brave decision to let things go. But look at this as your moment to shed those burdens and enjoy the rest of your year lighter and more refreshed. Okay, Scorpios, you all are up next. The full moon is happening in your 11th house of friends, networks, and social media, making it the perfect time to get out of your head and go out and connect with your friends. You'll be in a much more open spot with connecting with people on their terms and than you usually are throughout the year. This is also a great time to do some networking, whether that's online or in person. Take the chance to connect with some people that you think will broaden your horizons. You won't regret reaching out. Sagittarius, this full moon is happening in your 10th house of career, reputation, and public life. During this time, your professional life will be illuminated, meaning people will start taking notice of you and all the great work that you've been doing. If you set intentions during the fall's new moon around your career sector, you could see those seeds you planted manifest as the full moon marks its culmination. If not, no worries. Use the next 2 weeks to forge a plan of success. Take advantage of the attention that you're receiving, whether that's convincing your manager of a promotion or having the courage to finally switch careers. For my Capricorns, this full moon is lighting up your 9th house of higher education, long distance travel, and beliefs and ethics. Right now, you could be completing a course you took for fun or finishing up a lesson or subject that you think will be beneficial to your future. You could also be thinking about venturing overseas for a trip or diving deep into a new cultural experience. Whatever you're doing, use the next 2 weeks to decompress and get some rest. While being a workaholic comes naturally, I know because I'm a Capricorn sun and rising, this full moon is asking you to take that hat off and immerse yourself into another subject that'll light you up. Last, but certainly not least, are our Aquarius risings and suns. This full moon in Virgo is lighting up your 8th house of shared resources, taxes, and intimacy, and transformation, to name a few. With Saturn in the mix with the full moon in the opposing position, the next 2 weeks could be a great time to connect with your partner to make a plan to get your joint finances in shape. Obviously, tax season is around the horizon, and making a plan to be proactive could put you in good shape for the rest of the year. If you're not focused on your finances, you could be ready to have a heart-to-heart with your partner on growing your intimacy. Mercury in the opposing sign will encourage you to talk, and Saturn's presence will help you be rational and reasonable when sharing how you feel. Go for it if it feels right. So that's everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you found this video helpful, and please comment on how the next 2 weeks turn out for you. This is a beautiful full moon with great energy, and I hope it treats you all well. And if you're interested in booking a reading, please check out my website on the description below. And thank you again for tuning in. See you next week. Really appreciate it. Thank you.